Hi, I'm Dan Vevers from the Daily Record, and we are looking at seats to watch in this general election. And we're here in Glasgow East, which has actually a really interesting political heritage. It was the place where the SNP famously won a shock by-election win over Labour in 2008. And then in 2015, Glasgow East, like the rest of Glasgow, like almost all of Scotland, turned yellow in that massive SNP tsunami. And Glasgow East has been SNP ever since, although it has been close on occasion. And this year, Labour are really fancying their chances of turning not just this seat red again, but perhaps all the seats in the city. But for a lot of voters here, they might be wondering, well, what difference is it going to make to my life? Glasgow East remains one of the most deprived constituencies in all of the UK, with low wages, poor housing, and rising cost of living crisis. So I guess the question here is, what do they make of it all? We're here at the Ford shopping centre to find out what voters really think. How are you feeling about the election?
Good. I'm desperate to get the Tories out, and I'm desperate to get the SNP out.
So I'm going to divine from what you've said there that you might well be voting Labour.
I'll be voting Labour, yeah.
Yeah. But are you actually are you enthusiastic about what Labour are actually offering this time?
Yes. I'm quite happy with everything they're offering.
Yeah.
Without going overboard spending. I think they're just watching what they're doing.
Same old, same old. Do you know, is it going to make any difference? Are they going to get rid of the Tories, hopefully? Certainly don't want them back in. The next best bet's obviously Labour, but I don't know what they're going to do. I'm voting SNP in Scotland. I truly believe in independence, and the quicker the better.
At the moment, I'll not be voting for Labour.
Why is that?
Because there's nothing in place for stopping the immigrants coming here on the boats. And that's why. And it's costing millions.
I'm not so bothered about it because I know I'm voting SNP tactically anyway. There's nobody really worth voting for in the elections.
Do you think that any of the parties have got solutions for the problems that this area has been facing for decades now?
Oh yeah, well, the Tories, isn't they? They're trying something. But other than that, they're all full of promises, isn't they? Mm-hmm. We'll do this, we'll do that. It's the same crap.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
I'd quite like to see a change in the minimum wage and just like the stuff going on in like the East End of Glasgow, for like the crime and stuff like that.
People just haven't got the money. I mean, people are out working. I've got a niece I'm looking after her daughter, and she's got a good job, and her husband's got a good job, but the childcare is absolutely through the roof. So I'm helping them out, looking after the wean for them, because the costs are just horrendous.
Oh, you need change because they've all had their chance. I think they're all going stale. I think the Tories should have been out years ago. They've run everything down.
Very little has changed in the East End of Glasgow and Scotland as a whole. And then you add into the mix, you get the Tories and the Labour, and it's just a total mess. I would get rid of them all and start afresh.
What is it about the Labour Party that you think is going to do the most good for people living here?
Yeah, Labour Party, other than Rishi Sunak, very create difficulties for people and also for students. For Rwanda issue is very difficult.
And do you have much faith that, even if it's a Labour government down south, it's going to make any difference for all that kind of stuff?
No, absolutely no, absolutely no. And I just feel, Scotland really need to stand up and be counted and say, right, enough's enough. Let us be independent and let us deal with our own money. Stop giving it away to then try and beg it back again.
They never tried to solve all the problems in the NHS. I'm talking about the workers here. They could have settled all these disputes, but instead they've just let them roll on. And the waiting list has got longer and longer. And they keep coming away with loads of things like subscription, 18-year-olds into the army. It'll never work. They've went with it all the wrong way. Just another gimmick.
What would you say the biggest issue is locally right here, right now?
Poverty.
All right. And it's kind of always been that way, hasn't it?
It's never changed.
Yeah. So what would your message be to politicians who want to get your vote?
Pull your socks up when you're all out. I'd sack them all.
So we've spoken to a broad spectrum of voters here in the East End. Plenty of people with lots of things to say, some strong opinions of various different hues, and I think probably a sense from a lot of people that they're sceptical that they're going to get the change they need, but they still hope it might come, and they're going to make their voices heard on July 4th.